I would say that 99% of the people that know us have no idea what we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, we'll post on our social media. We do like leadership or encouraging or inspiring little nuggets here and there. But I think 99% of the people, when I say what I'm getting ready to say, they're like, holy cow, we had no idea.
It's usually the response.
Yeah,
actually.
they're like, I
Yeah.
had no clue.
I just seen you as a pastor.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Yeah,
Right.
you were a firefighter.
Right.
You were
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pastor. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But like, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. That's really, I think that's something that we've really pressed in with together, and we get to do this together. We get to do this as a whole family.
Success in business means nothing.
If you're losing in other areas of your life,
It's time to stop just building wealth.
and start leading with conviction. I'm Jake Tracy.
I'm Sean Skyver, and this is the blueprint for the modern man, mastering real estate, scaling business.
And honoring God and family through courageous stewardship.
Let's get to work. All right, so we're back, guys. We have a special episode today. We have two major community influencers here with us today that have just made such an impact on lives right here in our county and my life personally, actually. So I'm sitting here with a personal mentor and coach of mine who has helped even shape my life, and I'm really excited to have them on today. So we're just going to dive into a little bit about their story and look at where they were, where they're at now, and where they're going. I remember looking back real quick, just sitting down a while back with our guest here at coffee, and we were talking a little bit, and I had asked him what he was going to do after he was going to be leaving where he was at working. He had said, well, I don't have to work right now. And man, I leaned in that moment and I said, well, what are you doing? And he shared with me that little breakfast that morning, and that statement changed the entire trajectory of my life. So we're excited to dive in. We have Aaron and Kelly Hopson here this morning. How are you guys?
Doing great, man.
Doing
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah,
We're
man,
excited to be here.
We are so excited. Yeah, you guys are here to share with us. I know you're doing a lot of big things. I know it's like I've seen you guys move and do, and then I'm still going, how do they handle all this? Because, and I know you're not even done yet.
No.
It's like you're just getting started and you've already done so much. So let's just dive right into it. Looking back now, how did your early experiences shape your community heart, your heart for stewardship, generosity, and faith as you've come into where you are now?
Man, that's a big question, man. That's a big question.
Yeah.
Man, I would say for me personally, we're talking about the Defiance community, man. My grandparents, whenever I tell people my last name's Hopson, most people are like, who? Like, no one knows my parents, because we're the only Hopsons here. And so, but when I mentioned my grandparents, Weisenbergers, a lot of the people who are familiar in this area go, oh,
They're
yeah,
the
we
builders.
know that. We know them. And so it was one of those things that, I was an entrepreneur. I had a lawn care. We were doing lawn care and landscaping early on. And I just felt there was a different call. There was a different path for me. And I didn't really know what that was. I just remember God basically telling me hey, there's more, there's something bigger, not that there's anything wrong with lawn care landscaping, but there was a bigger call for me, but I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. And in 2007, my grandmother, she died in 1990, but she was elected to the City Hall of Fame. And I just knew right then, oh man, public service. How do I get involved with the community? How do I carry on their legacy of what they did here in this area? And that led me to working for the city and ultimately into the fire service for 15 years as a full-time firefighter, served the community and started in kind of doing those types of things and just being highly involved and trying to have a good presence, man, trying to do good things. And so that was my personal thing. That was kind of how that got me the different vision or different trajectory or different direction in my career, man, like public service, be a servant. And so that's what kind of changed for me.
Yeah, and I would say even, we both grew up in church and we always believed in the Lord, but I wouldn't say that we were serving the Lord when we were young, but I knew we both had a heart for people. So even from our early on, we were sowing into people, loving people. He was a firefighter. I was a teacher, so I taught kindergarten. And to me, teaching was so much more than just, education. It was loving the kids. And so we just felt like there was a call in our life. And when it all kind of changed for us, I would say was when we found the Lord. And then it all started kind of coming together. The love for people, the love for the Lord, the love for the community. And, we look back now and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
God handpicked all of our steps to bring us where we are today.
Yeah.
But you don't know it then, right?
Yeah.
No idea where you're
Yeah.
going then. So
Yeah, and I would say like for the, obviously we're heavily involved in real estate. I mean, that's kind of the entrepreneurial side of things now. But for me, what kind of led me or us into that career path was I've always had the entrepreneurial heart. Always like side businesses and things like that, even when I was a firefighter. But it was during that time as a medic, firefighter medic for the city, that I would go into houses, I would go into on calls, and I would see some of the living conditions that people were living in, and that some of the area landlords, maybe they live here, maybe they're not living here in this community, but like they own property and they're renting to people. And I just was like blown away at some of those, man, just the lack of quality, you know what I mean? Or the lack of like, they didn't care. And I get it. Sometimes we're in this business, sometimes there is, tenant generational things going on. And, sometimes it is, it's their issues and, they got to take accountability for that, how they live. But a lot of the times, man, I'm going, this is not their fault. Where they're living because of just, they don't make enough money to live somewhere else. They can't afford to live in something nicer. But there's still dignity as landlords and as entrepreneurs. Like, we have to like do our best to make sure we take care of people the best we can. Yeah. Obviously business is business, but I would just see some of these things. I mean, I'm talking garden hoses used for plumbing, exposed wiring. That's, a fire hazard, but also an electrical hazard to like kids, people heating their home with their oven. You know what I mean? Wow. And we're in these places, I'm going, there's got to be something better for this community. I live here, I'm employed as a firefighter, and I can't just keep looking at this and acting like it's okay. And I said, I think I can do it better. Nice. I think I can do it better. And so that ultimately is what got me or us into real estate, was that mindset of like, there's got to be a better way. There has to be somebody here who actually cares a little bit more than all these other people. You know what I mean? And so that's how we got into it.
That's almost like the stewardship side of what our responsibility is as owners, as landlords, to take care of our tenants. That's part of what we're called to be as good stewards of what God has given us in the properties 100%. That we own.
And watching his burden, just his burden coming home, and he would talk about these environments people were living in, it just reminded me of Nehemiah, and in the Bible where he says, man, someone has to do something. It might as well be me. And that's what I saw in him was, man, people can't keep living like this. And so we have to do something. And I was excited it wasn't in our homes anymore because we kept moving and renovating.
Do you find it funny how it seems like when you have all these additional properties, your focus gets transitioned off of your own property and onto all of your rental properties, because that's where your revenue is coming in, and you're responsible for the families that are living in those homes. And so it's almost like your property tends to get neglected or ignored to some point until you're like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We've got to do something about this issue at our own home.
Yeah, same when I was lawn care and landscaping. My yard always looked the worst. My landscaping always she's like, you own a business. We got to make this. I'm like, I know, but I'm so busy taking care of everybody else's. Ours is the worst.
Yep, we get it.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
so I do want to take a step back, though, and talk about y'all's marriage a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge part of what it is that we're trying to encourage through this process, through this podcast, especially in young men who are maybe young in their marriage. Or, I mean, I've been married for over 20 years, so it could be men who have lived in a relationship for a very long time and still feel like they may be lost or need some guidance or help. So you guys have been married for how long?
Oh man, almost 24 years this year. Yeah.
Good job.
Aaron told me it's been easy the whole time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Like, your nose isn't growing
best wife ever. I hope not. It's big enough as it is. I sure hope it's not.
June will be 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Been together 26.
Yeah, 26 altogether. And the puppy love story is that we were little boyfriend, girlfriend from kindergarten through 5th grade. So
we went to elementary school. So it was really cool when we did get married because our moms had taken pictures of us when we were young at birthday parties, roller skating parties. So we had a cool slideshow of us, but we were, I'd wear his little coat on recess, but we never dated in high school. We were just friends all through school, and then reconnected in college at a mutual friend's wedding. And so we've known each other a long time, but Go ahead.
I would say even with that, I mean, we've grown up since we were kids, and so even in this relationship, when we got together and got married, and you start having kids, and man, I would say the first couple of years were amazing. It's honeymoon, and then the kids start to take over, and then the stressors of life, and even I had this lawn care company. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know how to lead people, and so we were super successful in the sense that we were one of the largest lawn care companies in Northwest Ohio as a 20-some-year-old kid, but super unsuccessful because I didn't know how to steward it. I didn't know what I was doing, and so we were broken, lost, hopeless. I wasn't leading very well, and our marriage started to kind of crumble. It started to fall apart.
Yeah. It was a lot of, I think what us moms do, right? We put the kids before the husband. And at that time, we weren't really attending church. We didn't really know the Lord like we do now. And so biblical order and, your spouse coming before your kids really was new to us. And so there was a lot of arguing and a lot of ego on both of us, kind of living separate lives, but together. And there was a pivotal turning point. I remember probably about 7 years into our marriage where there was this huge fight. He slammed the door, he walked out, and we were talking about getting divorced. And I just remember saying, he's not coming back. We had 2 little boys, and it was just like a turning point. And when he did come back that night, we're like, we have got to do something. We both come from divorced families, blended families, that adds extra stress. And we said, no, we're not doing it to our kids. And I think that's really when we decided, man, we got to get in church. And we didn't even really know what that meant. It was, no, we need the Lord, but we're like, we have to find a church. We have to get in church.
Yeah.
And so we've grown a lot from that moment, I would say.
Yeah.
But it was that turning point where everything kind of crumbled. We were broke. Our credit scores was in the 400s. We didn't have health insurance. My youngest son, Connor, he was an emergency baby. And so we had like a $30,000 medical bill we couldn't pay. It was just any stress that could be added was added. And everything just kind of came to a head, And it was like, okay, we need Jesus. There's no other answer.
I know that people look at us, like they look at our marriage now and they're like, no way, no way. Because we're so happy and we love each other. But has not always been the case. No. It's taken, this valley that we were in and then seeking the Lord, going all in with him, getting involved in small groups, having mentors, with good marriages speak into us like, this is how a marriage is supposed to look. This is what God's, his covenant promise of marriage is supposed to look like. And then literally going, all right, we got to, listen, we've tried it our way and it hasn't worked. Let's try it this way and see what happens. And we made this commitment to each other that, like I said, we're from broken homes. And I know my dad lived in South Carolina. Like I saw him 6 weeks out of the year, and it wasn't a great relationship. It's way better now than what it was then. But we said we just don't want to do that to our kids. And so we made this decision that, no, we made a promise to each other, and we're just going to figure it out. And we're just not going to quit. And that's what it comes down to. Even when you want to, even when it's hard, even when it was terrible, we just committed to each other, said, no, we're not giving up. Yeah. We're going to just push through this, and we got to figure it out.
That's
good.
What
we did, so.
Yeah.
Took a lot of work, so it wasn't easy, is what you're saying.
No.
It was worth it, right?
It was hard. It was worth it. And it really is, dying to yourself every day.
Yeah.
And what we find is when we do get in those, we're not perfect. We get in those bickers, those arguments, or, what do we call them? Intense fellowship moments.
Yeah. That's what she calls them, right?
But it usually does come down to pride or ego.
Yeah.
So it's, no, I'm choosing you every day over being right.
Yeah.
I'm choosing you over my feelings. I think that, we have to do that maybe even several times a day.
Yeah, sometimes, It wasn't like we just flipped a coin or turned a page and everything just magically got better. Like, it's been 12, 13 years of like really hard work. And again, we're not perfect. We still have our moments. We still have times where we, I don't do it well. You know what I mean? I mess up. I'm human.
He does. Just kidding. We both do.
Yeah. But it's going all right. Like, she's kind of saying that the relationship's more important than me just being right. the relationship
Amen. Yeah,
matters
so good.
more
Yeah.
than what my ego or
It's
my
easy
feelings
to lose
are.
sight of that, though.
Yeah.
So often.
So
I want to
often.
win. I want to be right.
Yeah.
I need you to know that I'm the one that wins this.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like, why? Why do we get hung up on that in a
Right.
marriage with someone we love?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like it's we're competing
Yeah.
with each other.
Yeah.
We're not competing.
Nobody's
Yes.
going to win
We're fighting
here.
for each other,
Yes.
man, not against each other.
Yep.
So,
And
yeah,
one of
man.
our mentors taught us, when we first started, that usually the most mature in the relationship will stop it when you're in that crazy cycle,
Yeah.
going back and forth. The most mature will stop it, and the most mature will say, I'm sorry. And so we kind of got to this point where one of
Usually
us.
her.
I'm going to be the most mature in this one.
Yeah. It really does
I don't
take
win
one
that
of
one
us
very
kind of
often.
going, wait, freeze. Nope, this
Yeah.
is dumb.
Yeah.
What are we even fighting about?
That's
Yeah.
it right there.
You
That's
just
so
have
good.
to
What are we
stop.
fighting about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't put the mustard down the bottom shelf where you like to put the
Yes.
full things and
Yeah.
set them up on the top where I put it because I just put it where there's a spot. You know?
It generally is far less
Yeah,
important
it's
than
so true.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Than you make
and
it
it
out to
becomes
be.
this whole thing. And then you forget, okay, wait, why were we even fighting?
Yeah.
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 Those
So-
small things can ruin a relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
If you allow
for
them
sure.
to.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
Resent just grows and
Yeah.
grows and grows until it's an uncontrollable force
Yes.
that nobody wanted in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I
go
think
on.
we've learned through that it's communication.
Yes.
Right? Like when you're in that, it's so easy just to shut down. You've made me mad, and you shut down and you hold on to that.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, okay, freeze, man, when you said this, it really hurt my feelings. In the beginning of our marriage, we talked a lot about tone, like it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. And I came from a broken home and an abusive father when I was a baby, and bless God, my mom left him when I was 2. But you remember those things, and so that was our biggest thing is tone. If he would
Yeah.
get loud, or I'd be like, "Why are you
Abrasive,
mad?
yeah.
Abrasive? Why are you mad?" He'd say, "I'm not mad." "Oh, yes, you are. You're raising your voice."
Yeah.
"No, I'm not." It was the biggest thing was tone. So for me to stop and say, "Okay, freeze. What I just heard you say is you're yelling at me about these chicken nuggets." He's like,
Yeah.
"I don't even care about, I'm not yelling." "No, but that's what I heard." "Oh, all right." And then him not being defensive, that's what I heard. Him going, "Okay, I didn't mean it like that," and moving on.
Yeah,
But
so
you can
good.
shut down
Yep.
and just be mad at each other, and then that swells. So communication has been huge for us.
That's
Yeah,
good.
we've definitely learned a lot over the past, 10, 12, 13 years of
Yeah.
doing it way better than we did in this season where it was
Yeah.
not great. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so we get to use that as an opportunity to speak life into others too.
Yeah,
that are going
exactly.
through
Yeah.
things. And so,
It's a good way to steward those lessons and
Yeah.
those opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I learned I desire control, and you always think your spouse or your partner thinks the way you do. Like I'm a morning
What? We
person.
don't know anything about
No, it's like I think
talking
you
about?
should think the way I do. So for us, it was like, I'm a morning person. I get things done. If I'm up, I'm going to vacuum. I'm going to do dishes. I'm going to get it done. It's going to be done before lunch gets here.
yeah.
Well, my wife's not that same way. So I would be like, well, I did them last time. This is her time. And I wouldn't say a thing. Just sit here and think and stew on it, be watching TV. She's still not up. They're still not done. She's not. It's 3 p.m. What is going on? Now I'm mad.
Right.
She has no. She's just strolling around and enjoying her day, her afternoon. But it's like so. Then I'm mad at her about my expectations that she had no idea about.
Yeah.
If I had just said, "Babe, would you mind just grabbing the dishes today?" At least I would know. But I didn't say any of that. So we actually talked about our upbringing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that shapes the way you behave in your
100%.
adult life.
Right.
So we dove back into it, and she said, when she was young, when mom got up and started chores or would start doing things, that was the cue to get up and start doing them. So I've got things done usually pretty early in the morning, but it was real understanding that. And then she was willing to just be asked. She's like, you just need to ask me, I'll do them. And I'm
Right.
like, oh, so we had that big revelation. So I got out of my own head about these
Yes.
expectations I had
Yeah.
that she didn't know about. It's just like, I need to know who you were so I can
Right.
understand how you are.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
it makes it so
man.
much easier
Yeah,
to navigate.
for sure.
A lot of times you'll hear from folks that your relationship is supposed to be 50-50. And we've always approached it from our relationship with each other, excluding our relationship with the Lord, but just with each other, it's 100%, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
If I don't have your best interest at mind and at heart every single day for every conversation and everything we do, I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And if
Wow,
you have
yeah.
the same thing. We're both going at this 100%
So
in
good.
favor of the other person.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
situation.
I love that.
Absolutely.
That's so
And
good.
It's very difficult to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
but
for
if
sure.
you have that in your head constantly where it's like, I'm putting myself down so that I can put her up,
Right.
or vice versa.
Right.
You know, how can I be better at every single thing that I'm doing so that
Yeah.
I'm giving 100%, she's giving 100%, it's not a 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
that's
goal,
so
your goal
good.
to outserve your partner
Yes.
all the time.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
having that mentality.
Yeah.
That's
We
good.
say that too, and then like in coaching, like if we're coaching a married couple, like we say kind of something similar where, hey, marriage isn't just 50-50, that equals 100%, right? You're 50-50, but you know what? Some days, man, I may be down. I may be having having a bad day, or I may, things are the stress of the world is just weighing on me. And so I may be 20% today. I may be a 20. And she goes, you know what, that's okay. I'll be 80 for you.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be days where she's like that. And I go, hey, I'm 80 for you today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we just go back and forth and we can flow with that. It doesn't have to be 50-50 every day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's knowing that, hey, I'm here to pick you up when you're down and you're here to pick me up when I'm down. And
Yeah.
we just know that we're fighting for each other. And it goes back to we're giving 100%.
Yeah.
Whatever we can give,
Yep.
to each other and keeping the best interest of the other person in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's good.
That can really help a lot of relationships
Yeah.
out there. Folks that are listening to the podcast, hopefully you can take some nuggets away from what was just spoken there, because I guarantee you, if you can put those into practice, it will help your marriage.
Yes,
for
Guaranteed.
absolutely.
For sure. For
So,
sure. Yeah.
I want to take it back, though, to kind of where you guys are at right now.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know now where you came from, your past, leading up to this point. I know you're heavily into real estate. Talk about kind of what it is that you have going at the moment.
Oh my golly.
I know there's a
I don't know
lot.
why that makes
Not
me
all of
laugh.
it. Not all of it, Aaron. Just
This is
kind
not
of
a
give us.
3-day
Wow.
podcast.
This is footnotes. Be careful,
So
Jake.
so here's the thing. I mean,
give
this
us
is
a-
great because I would say that 99% of the people that know us have no idea what we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, we'll post on our social media. We do like leadership or encouraging or inspiring little nuggets here and there. But I think 99% of the people, when I say what I'm getting ready to say, they're like, holy cow, we had no idea.
It's usually
And
the
so,
response.
Yeah,
actually.
they're like, I
Yeah.
had no clue.
I just seen you as a pastor.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Yeah,
Right.
you were a firefighter. You were
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pastor. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But like, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. That's really, I think that's something that we've really pressed in with together, and we get to do this together. We get
Yeah.
to do this as a whole family, and so presently we are about 150 units, 150 rental units in the doors.
Got
yeah,
it.
in the Northwest Ohio area. Most of them right here in Defiance. We have some stuff outside of Defiance, but not a lot. Most of it's here. 2 laundromats. A dry cleaner. Obviously, we took over Mercury Cleaners last year.
Yep.
We're expanding our laundromats. Hopefully, we're going to add a couple more here in the next couple months. We have a gym downtown. She runs a studio, a spin studio. 99% attendance by women there. So she uses that as part of a ministry to pour into those ladies and speak
cool.
life into them. And
Love it.
and then on the other side of that building down there is a full service gym. I mean, I've got equipment and stuff like that. And then a jiu-jitsu studio. I've been a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy for about 10 years. And so the local club is there. They rent the space from us. So we've got that going on. On top of that, we have Wellspring Legacy Group, which just launched.
Which we're going to talk about
We're
here
gonna
in a
talk-
little bit.
okay.
Yep, absolutely.
And so that's another business that we run. That's a ministry for us. I think that's probably the biggest thing we've got actually going, or we're pressing and pushing.
I think you would agree that
Yeah.
every door we purchase, sometimes they'll say, oh, the Hopsons bought that, or, it's kind of like a joke. But I think what people don't know is every door we buy, we look at as taking another door for the kingdom of God.
Right, yes.
So it's another door that someone who loves Jesus owns, and it's another door where we can sow into our community, talk about the Lord,
reach more people,
reach
yeah.
more
Yeah,
people.
it's good.
And so that's huge on our hearts. Just how can we spread more
Yeah.
love and love on more people? So
Shortly here in a couple months, we signed paperwork yesterday on a franchise. We'll be opening a Brightway Insurance franchise here in Defiance, which is property and casualty insurance and life insurance. Again, amazing company. Just great people, great service, great products. And so we're going, hey, it's just another thing that we can offer to the community and hopefully service people's insurance needs and and help them in another way. Everybody needs insurance. And we believe with this company that it's going to make it easy and better for everybody around us.
Yeah.
And so
sounds like the leadership team there lines up with your values and stuff.
100%,
so that's wonderful. It's good to hear.
Yeah, so just a couple things. Just a couple things going, you know. And
I told you, be careful. We said not everything.
Many more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Whatever the Lord blesses us with.
100%.
incredible.
So
You said Brightway Insurance?
Brightway Insurance.
And that's going to be downtown?
That'll be downtown. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
right
Our
on.
office will be downtown. A building that we own downtown, 500 Clinton Street. And so those apartments upstairs or some other businesses that are located there. But the front of that will be our main office space for all of our, basically, it'll be the hub for all of our businesses will be run out of there. So, yeah.
That particular property was kind of a point of frustration when y'all first bought it, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. And it's still got some,
It still
got
does.
some things, you know,
Okay.
it's just it's a,
I remember Alex talking to me about
yeah,
it.
it's
He's
a
"I hate that
200-year-old building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, Defiance was formed in 1822, and I think that building was built about the same time. Yeah. So, you know, like,
Day one.
it's it definitely has its frustrations. It's
Yeah.
definitely had, you know, and that's real estate. We
That's the
know, like,
reality.
it's just the reality of it. But again, we do the best we can with the resources that we have,
Yeah.
and we just try to continue improving. Again, we don't knock it out of the park. There's people that, you know, that are upset, and maybe we didn't respond fast enough, or we didn't do exactly what they wanted us to do. But man, we try. Man, we try our best. And again, we're human. We're not perfect. We don't hit home runs all the time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I'm okay with the way we handle most of the stuff, and we're gonna just keep trying to get better. That's all we can do. That's all we can do.
Right.
You know. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Very good. Let's dive into the next phase here. And this is where I think we'd both like to hear more about the future and where you're going. So this is where it might be a good opportunity to talk about the Wellspring Legacy Group and share some of that with our listeners today, and just talking about the legacy in which you are creating and what you're doing with it in your now and in your future.
Yeah. You want to share how this all kind of started, like how this was placed on our hearts, and
Sure.
I think that's a cool story.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear this because I
Yeah.
don't know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is great.
So Aaron and I were both on staff at Experience Church and loved pastoring people. We loved the church. Our pastors have been amazing mentors. You know, since we were struggling in that marriage, they have just walked with us. And we're pastoring, and I kind of get this burden on my heart that we're supposed to do something else. And I'm very much a visionary. And so I'm visionary, and I have pretty high discernment. So I've learned, I'm better at this, but I would get a prompting from the Lord or something in my spirit, and I would be like, oh my gosh, we need to do this. And he would be like, whoa. So this is kind of what happened at that time. I had this prompting that I'm like, I think that we're supposed to do ministry, but a different way. And so I went to him and I said, I think we're supposed to do ministry outside the four walls of the church. We're supposed to step off of staff and build this retreat center for marriages, men, women, and pastors. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I think where it stemmed from is you see the need in the churches, right? And it's not just our church, it's every church. The need that people just need pastored. They need discipled. There are some marriages in crisis, some men, some women in crisis, and they need some guidance, right? Some godly wisdom. But our pastors, you know, our staffs are thin, right? The budget is thin for staffing, and Sunday's always coming. So what we started to see is, okay, these people need more one-on-one. They need sewed into a little bit more. And at no fault of any pastors, it's time, right? It's time and getting ready for Sunday.
Yeah.
So we just both kind of started praying, and that was probably, was that a year before we even, that was probably 2 years ago that I just had this vision. And I envisioned just woods and just a place for people to come and rest and be renewed and slow down. And I'm like, I think we're supposed to pastor these people and help the churches, not pull people from churches and not just experience church, but man, I think we could build a team. And I think the Lord wants us to come alongside of him to help disciple his people and help the local churches.
Yeah. she kind of presented this to me, and at first I was like, whoa, like that's really big. That's really big. And
he actually was like, I don't know where you want me to get the money for that.
I don't know what to do. Like, I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah.
But then I started praying. Yeah. And then I started seeking the Lord, like, what does this mean? What is on her heart? Well, then the Lord started to reveal some things to me. And he never does things by accidents, and there's no such thing as coincidences. Right. And so I started putting some pieces together. Like, man, I went to a place in Charleston, South Carolina before I stepped on staff in ministry. And it was a retreat center for pastors down there. An amazing church and amazing pastors down in that area bought this property, and this is what they do. And they bring pastors in, and they hold these retreats. So I've seen it. And I go, man, it was a really special place. Yeah. And it was really neat. And then I started thinking about these relationships, these connections, my time in ministry and even before ministry when I was kind of getting connected with this church in Alabama and going to their place, seeing what they're doing, and God kind of stirring that and go, man, why can't we do that here? Like, this is amazing what they're doing and the impact they're having. But there's nothing like that back home. Why can't we do something like that back home? And so these pieces started to kind of come together of like, oh, these people that we've connected with, this conference that I went to, and they talked about this. Yeah. And so all of this started to kind of get revealed to me, and God kind of just started showing me like, I've placed you in these different places. I've connected you with these different people for such a time as this.
Amen.
And yeah. So we went on vacation. I think it was November of 2023.
Yes, would have been 23.
And man, I'm hanging out. I'm in some quiet time with the Lord. I'm on the beach. It's beautiful. I'm by myself, and I'm going, I felt like the Lord going, this quiet, this stillness, this is what you need to do. And I just felt him saying, like, you need to partner with my church, help my church disciple their people. And I was like, okay. And then it kind of grew a little bit out of that. It's not just churches, it's also businesses. There's a lot of Christians who own businesses, but there's not a lot of Christian business owners, and there's a difference. Yeah. Christians who just own businesses, I just own a business and this is just what I do, and I just go to church on Sunday. Christian business owners have a kingdom tie. If what they're doing sows into the kingdom. And there's too many people that are Christians that just own businesses, not Christian business owners. And so I felt the Lord going, help men and businesses and women and churches and all of these people do life according to my word. Help them walk through their trials, help them walk through their tribulations, help them see the dreams that I placed on their heart and help them live that out. And then business owners, like, how do I get people to put that kingdom piece in what they're doing?
The best part was he was on the beach that day when he had this revelation. And he came back, and I was at the house that we were staying in, and he came back and he walked in the door and he was like, we are supposed to do this retreat center, and we are supposed to pastor the church's people. And I'm like, I know. I'm telling you this.
Already said that.
But it was like, and it was a light bulb went off. This epiphany happened. This, like, the Lord spoke.
Yes.
He showed this and I was like, and it all just became clearer. It wasn't crystal clear, but it was clearer. And so I was excited to share with her. Of course, she's like, yeah, I've been praying on this. I've been telling you this. And I go, I know. It takes me a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I got to catch up.
That's important too to mention, especially for marriages, because, I joke about it now that I've learned not to drop the bomb on him, like when I have a revelation or something, to kind of ease into it. But just because God's placed something on my heart doesn't mean he did it at the same time for him. Yeah. Right. So I have to honor the Lord and trust the Lord that he'll come to it in his timing, and he always does, and vice versa, he always does. But that's where it goes back to communication, just sharing it in the right way, not saying this is what we're doing and we're doing it tomorrow. How do we do it?
Yeah. So we came back from vacation in January 2nd of last year of 2025. I had a conversation with the pastors. And I said, hey, I think this is what we're supposed to do. And Kyle kind of joked. He was like, all right, what'd the devil tell you?
Yeah, that's not
I don't want you to leave.
No, you're not supposed to step off
staff. And we just kind of laughed. And he said, let's use the 21 days of prayer and fasting, and let's just pray. And we'll pray for you guys. We'll pray with you. We'll circle up afterwards, and let's just see what happens. And that's what we did.
We did.
I think through that 21 days last year, there was a crazy thing that the Lord did in bringing us. Initially, we kept hearing the Lord tell us 40 acres. that he wanted us to purchase 40 acres. How that actually happened can only be the Lord, how that happened. But we thought that's where the retreat was going to go. We thought it was going to go on this 40-acre property. Like, we thought, oh, this is what we'll do. We'll build. And I think what we did is we kind of got ahead of the Lord a little bit. But I also said that I think the Lord used that. He used that, how that happened, to get me to move.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy where I'm at. I love the church. I love working at the church. I love the people there. And there's no way that I'm saying yes to this vision if I'm happy, if I'm content, right? And so the Lord had to do something and just really do something big for me to see it.
Yeah.
You know, she had seen it. She's in. She's 100%. There's zero doubts for her. And I'm over here kind of like, you know, Thomas, you know, like, I got to see it, Lord. You got to show me the holes. You know what I mean? And so, and then the Lord, he shows up. And it was literally, 21 days is over. We have a meeting with Pastor Kyle and Justina. We go to lunch, okay? 20 minutes before our meeting, I get a text message from the current owner. We had bought 20. There was another 20 acres next to it. And we were trying to get this guy to sell it. He was like not interested. And I'm at lunch 20 minutes before our meeting to like go in and go, hey, 21 days is over. Here's what the Lord spoke. And this guy texts me and he says, it's yours. I'll sell it to you. And that gave us the 40. And so I'm like,
this is it.
Okay. So I go tell Pastor Kyle. We sit there and we tell Pastor Kyle exactly what just happened. And he looks at me and goes, I got nothing.
You can't argue that.
I got nothing.
Tears in our eyes.
Okay.
He's like, that's confirmation. We're here.
Yeah. So,
they were amazing. Yeah.
So we worked through that season of
we did.
Just kind of this transitioning, coming off staff.
I transitioned off of staff actually at the end of April, and you in July.
Yeah, I stayed until July.
So we stayed and for a little bit, and then transitioned off, and then started building Wellspring Legacy Group.
Yeah.
So tell us, let's dive into Wellspring Legacy.
Okay.
I don't know how far along you guys are, or what that looks like, but I think we want the listeners to have an idea on what's coming and how to get in touch. So
yeah, man. So basically, we believe that Wellspring Legacy Group is going to serve churches and businesses through 4 lanes of ministry. Number 1 is coaching. Number 2 is missions trips. Number 3 is consulting. And number 4 are the retreats. And so you want to talk about
the coaching?
Yeah.
We've started basically doing pastoral life coaching. We both got certified through a university online, and we're already meeting with women, men, and marriages. And so our heart would be to partner with churches and help provide pastoral care. Again, we go back to the time with the pastors and, hey, how can we help meet with your people? So the first church we've partnered with has been Experience Church. And basically the goal there is that the church would partner with us and pay like a monthly fee. And then for that fee, they're paying us for the coaching sessions. And then depending on the need or the level of the man, the woman, or the marriage, then we would provide services, so many sessions for free, because the church is covering that. So we're basically coming alongside pastors and helping to meet those needs. And so our heart would be, he meets with men, I meet with women, and then together we're meeting with married couples.
Good. Yeah, we need that. I mean, just being at Experience Church, you seeing them grow and you're growing and growing. It's like you hear people say, like, I just can't get to talk to anybody. I can't get to talk to anybody. Nobody has time. It's because it's a growing church. And there's only so much of them to go around.
Right.
So hearing what you guys are planning on doing is going to be pivotal for serving this community and a gap that's there, prevalent at probably a lot of churches.
Right, we're hoping.
What we've seen is that, man, over the last couple of years, not just Experience Church is growing, churches in general, people are hungry for a savior, and they're going back. And there's, I mean, look at the college campuses. Look at these, these baptism events that are happening on
the NFL.
I
love
this crazy
There's a revival.
hunger, this revival. Well, what I know from being in the church world, and what most people don't know, is that it usually takes about 6 to 8 months for a new believer to actually start giving anything to the church. Well, the church, they hire staff members and additional staffing with the money that comes in from the tithes and offering. Well, if it's church is exploding with growth, but it's 6 or 8 months before those people even start giving, not tithing, not 10%, just giving anything, there's a lag in the ability for a church to even hire people because there's no money to hire them, even though these people are there. So it takes time for them to catch up so they can hire staff members that then can address those needs of all these people. And so for us, we're ready and we're equipped now. And we can help you right now. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost because you're not hiring a staff member. You're not paying me, wages salary and benefits and all of those things. And so we get to do it at a fraction of the cost, and it's contracted versus, paying a W-2 employee and things like that. So it actually can save the church time and money and answer and come alongside a need right away. And so that's kind of our heart. That's kind of what we're trying to do. And I mean, right now, what do we have? Like 18?
Yeah, I think we have 18 clients
20?
right now that we're coaching.
And we haven't even
announced
this
it.
thing.
So this has just kind of been word of mouth, seeing on social media some posts. And we're really seeing fruit already.
Man.
Yeah, that's that the most fulfilling part of it?
Oh my goodness. We're seeing fruit, and we're seeing, marriages. When you're in a session and you're talking and you see that light bulb, the Lord's just peeling back layers for men and women. And it's, I think we get choked up after every session. Every session I'm like, that was the best session, because you're seeing life change and you're meeting a need. Yes. And so, there's nothing like going, okay, we were called to this. It's not easy, and we're staying pretty darn busy, but to see life change, it's like, okay, Lord, this is worth it.
Yeah. And it's not just churches, obviously we want to partner with churches, but my heart is also, I've been a business person. I've been a leadership guy for years. And so, what I see is like coming alongside business owners or coming alongside business and their leaders, because man, you could be really successful at what you do in your organization. You could be killing it, but your marriage is falling apart. Your kids at home, you know what I mean? And so like, I might not be able to teach you how to run your business better. You may have conquered that. You actually might teach me something in that aspect. But I can help you make sure your marriage is better. I can help you make sure your parenting is better. I can help you make sure your life outside of the workplace is better. Yeah. And I can also come alongside your team if you're a business owner and you have multiple employees, or you're a high-level leader in whatever organization you're in and you have people that report to you. Man, we know that the most expensive thing you can do in a business is hiring, firing, and training. Yeah. Employee retention is a big deal. Well, people don't leave most of the time because of money. They leave because of management. They leave because of poor leadership. And so let me come alongside your team and let me help show them value that comes from you as the leader. And what that says is that, man, this guy actually cares more about me and my life versus just what I produce. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or what I bring to the workplace. And so, man, we hope that would help business owners or high-level leaders with retention, showing employees value, and that'll ultimately save them money and time. And, you know what I mean? Because the people are going to want to stay if they know that you care more about their lives than what they're doing for you. And so that's kind of the coaching thing in a nutshell. Is it's churches, it's discipleship, it's marriages, it's women, it's business owners, it's business leaders. Like, we want that service to be provided to as many people as possible. And listen, if we got to grow teams, we'll grow teams. We'll add people, we'll certify them, we'll train them. But the reach that we want to have, I really felt the Lord speaking to us when we did this. Like, this is not just in this backyard. Yeah. This is something that can go nationally, globally. This is something that I think the Lord wants to just continue building.
He will. He will for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that when you think about the businesses, and you think about biblical order, if we're sowing into leaders and we're sowing biblical value into marriages of these businesses, it's not just about the revenue. Their revenue is going to increase, but that's because the fruit is increasing in their own home, right? You have to lead in your own home and lead your home well before you can lead anyone else well.
Yeah, so true.
And so that's our heart to pour into them.
Yeah, and then missions trips. Obviously, there's a lot of churches that they don't go on international missions trips. We want to talk about the Great Commission and going and making disciples, or as Acts 1:9 says, is after the Holy Spirit comes on you, you'll be my witness in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Well, basically that means your community, your state, your nation, and the world. And so a lot of churches believe it, but they don't do anything about it because they don't have a partnership. It's not their fault. They just don't know anybody. They don't have enough staff members. They're not equipped to do that.
For sure.
And so we have an amazing partnership with an organization in Central America called Juvenet. And so, man, we can come alongside you, again, churches, but also businesses. If you want to take your leadership team down to Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, anywhere in Central America and in South America, man, to go see a different country, to go see what people are doing outside of the United States that will change your heart. We want to help facilitate that. We'll put the trip together. We'll go with you on that trip. And I guarantee that when you come back, whether you're a church or a business, there's going to be some things that are different.
Yeah.
There's going to be some things that will be changed inside of you, and you will want to make a difference right here in this community or for your church or for your business, for sure.
One of our pastor friends that we went on a missions trip with, he told us, he said, I'm telling you, if churches and businesses understood the fire that would come from their people going on a missions trip, they're going to give more, they're going to do more, they're going to serve more, because you're seeing the heartbreak across the world. And so you're seeing the mercy that God has on the least of these, and they will come back on fire. And so we're like,
That's
awesome. So
Let's
it's
do
lit
it.
something in us. And so
so
that's how that came from.
Yeah, that's lane number 2. And then lane number 3 is consulting. Again, this is getting with businesses, getting with their leaders, helping people who have a dream on their heart to either start, stabilize, or scale a business. And so I'm just believe that I think one of the gifts that God's given me is this ability to be a pioneer and to help. We've started businesses, we've grown businesses, we've scaled them. And so I think there's other people out there that may be holding back a little bit. They're unsure, they don't know what to do, but they just know that they're supposed to do something.
Yeah.
And so
There's
let me
a lot.
come alongside you. Let me help you in that. Let me, we can talk about, vision, mission, values. Why is that important for your business? We can talk about an employee handbook. There's a lot of businesses out there that don't have an employee handbook. Well, how are your people supposed to know what the standards are or their job descriptions or their roles if you've not given them anything? And so we want to help businesses do that. Typically small businesses, you're 20, 25 employees or less, that's just kind of maybe a niche for us, or maybe you're just starting and you have no employees. Well, let me come alongside you. Let me coach you and do some consulting with you to help you. And then the last thing is retreats.
Yep. Last one is retreats. So we bought a home in the country, beautiful woods near the river. And our heart is to have a place that pastors, men, women, and marriages can come, stay a couple days, and, eat farm to table, eat big meals together, have some class sessions, have some time in nature, some quiet time, some prayer time, maybe prayer benches through the woods, but just a place where people can come to seek God, get quiet, be served, and just recharge. So then they can go back out and do more. So we have a barn on the property that we purchased that we're renovating into a retreat center that people can come and spend a few days, and we will sow into them. Our family will sow into them. And we actually are doing this alongside an amazing couple mentors of ours from Alabama who we went to their intensives. We've gone to their retreats and seen the fruit from that. Yeah. And kind of another, man, why can't we do that here? We can do that here. So that's our heart, is just coming together and pouring out. But let there be rest. I think that's what most leaders make the mistake is we get burned out because we just go, go, go. And that's something we've had to be really intentional with everything going on is leading from a place of rest, leading and making decisions through our family values, through our core biblical principles. So we aren't running on E, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And so we would love to just teach other people, hey, here's where we've got it all wrong. Here's what we did wrong, in ministry or in life. Yeah. And how can we help you do better than we did at one time?
Yeah, so good.
Now, this is not quite open and ready yet, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
We actually, we move
the 7th.
The 7th,
yep.
Yeah.
So we'll start the renovation on the barn. We're currently doing coaching, but the retreats probably won't launch, I'd say, first of summer.
Yep. Yeah,
and
very
for those that are listening, this is a beautiful property.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not, my wife did all the videography,
Yes,
photography,
she just
drone
told
footage,
me
all of that
that.
stuff for this property that you guys
Yes.
ended up purchasing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I've seen it firsthand. It is an incredible property.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing
Thank
what
you.
God does through
Oh, yeah, man.
that
We're
property and
so
through y'all.
excited.
it's
We're
gonna
so
be awesome.
excited.
It's going to be awesome. I think one of the things too that I think people need to understand, or maybe they don't know. Again, I was in the world. I was in ministry, and so I've been to conferences. I've connected with pastors, but most people don't know that the retirement rate of pastors is less than 50%. Most pastors don't make it to that. They don't get to a point where they can finish the job that the Lord started in them. They usually quit. Ministry's difficult. It's hard, and they never slow down. They're always thinking, hey, there's another soul. What we see is our pastors on a Sunday. And a lot of people, it must be great just to show up on Sunday and preach a message
Right.
and
Yeah.
go
People
home.
don't
But
realize
Yeah.
that.
they don't realize that these pastors of all these churches, they're doing a message. Usually that message takes about 20 to 30 hours of preparation to deliver. But then they're also, they're pastoring people. They're showing up at the funeral homes. They're doing weddings. They're at hospice. They're bedside at the hospital. They're doing a lot outside of just showing up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and the biggest thing is when somebody in their church reaches out and says, hey, I have a family member, at the hospital or in hospice, they rarely ever say no. They just go. And so they very rarely rest. They talk to us. They teach us about Sabbath. They tell us, hey, y'all need the Sabbath. Y'all need the rest. It's biblical. But most of them aren't doing it. And so we really feel this retreat center can help pastors come from all over the country. Just spend a few days with us. Just relax. Just rest. Let us pour into you a little bit. Let us feed you
In a
it's
safe
safe
space.
environment. Yeah.
A lot of them are on platforms and, all eyes on them all the time. So just a place to literally unplug and be served themselves.
Yeah,
It's good.
for sure.
Yeah, that's so good. I want to transition a little bit to talking a little bit more about y'all's superpower.
Oh, no.
Right? that thing that most people would say maybe not. Maybe a superpower is something that everybody just knows. I'm really good at this thing. Or it could be something that people look at and say, well, that should be a challenge. That's what the world defines as a hardship. And I lean into it and recognize that that's one of my biggest superpowers. Y'all have something that you can talk about that you find to be maybe something that you see is an exceptional attribute in your own self.
Man, I don't know about, what would you say yours is?
I think for me, I think it's vision.
Ooh.
That's kind of coming to me in a couple different ways. Obviously, like vision and discernment is big on my list, but I just have a way to look at things and really people and see potential. So, I'm really big on anybody can change their life, right? The Lord can change. I'm like, guys, if God can change my life, God can change anyone.
Amen.
And so
Oh, that's okay.
don't
that
start
part.
dancing. Don't start dancing. And so I look at a person and I see potential.
Yeah.
I'm a part of the CCNO ministry at church and been doing that for 8 years. And I get asked a lot, like, is that scary going out there? And no, I just see who they are, right? Like you just see the heart. And so I would say vision. I see vision in people. I see vision in strategy and places we're going and what places and people can become.
It's good.
Yeah, that's
think.
really good.
That is good.
Man,
Top that.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
man.
You're up, big boy.
I should have gone first.
You're up.
Ah, man. Man, I don't know. I think as she was kind of saying like vision and things like that, I don't know, man. I think I've got this drive or this ambition. Obviously, we're doing so many things. I look at that and go, and we're just getting started. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so I just look at my life and I look at, and maybe part of this is a fear mindset that I've got to get out of, or maybe I'm working myself out of, is like, we struggled so bad when we were newly married. Our finances were a mess. Our relationship was a mess. And I just knew that something had to change, you know what I mean? And the answer was me, you know what I mean? I had to change. I had to wake up and go stop being apathetic, stop being a victim, stop, you know what I mean? All these things. Listen, man, I had some crazy stuff happen to me as a kid. I came from nothing. I didn't have rich parents. I mean, factory workers, and my mom was on disability, and you know what I mean? Like we talked about it earlier, I had a 400 and some credit score at one time. You know what I mean? Like
there were months
struggled.
we had to decide, do we pay the electric this month or the water?
Yeah.
Like which one can we pay?
Yeah. And listen, I had too much pride. My father-in-law did okay. He did well. He worked really hard and he did good. But I had too much pride to go to my father-in-law and say, hey, could you help me? Because I married his daughter. You know what I mean? Like there's no way I could do that. And so it's hard for me to ask for help. It's hard for me to receive help. But I think there came a moment in my life where I thought, if anything has to change, it has to be me. And if anyone's going to move the needle, it's going to be me. I just have to decide. And so I think drive and ambition, like I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep moving forward no matter how hard it gets. And I'm not playing the victim. I'm not a victim. Things did happen to me, but that's not who I am.
Amen.
It's just something that happened to me, and I'm not going to stay there.
Can I add too, just going back to, we were talking about that drive. I think too, in the beginning of our marriage, when we talked about, I had leave and cleave, right? Like leave and cleave. Because my dad did work hard. He came from nothing, and he worked really hard to build, legacy for him. But because we were raised a little different, he did a lot for me, and he was my stepfather, but raised me as his own. And so when we were first married, my answer would be like, well, let's ask my mom and dad. Maybe they could help. And they did help us in the beginning with things, but I think that sparked something in him going, no, that's not what we do. That's not the answer. And so, what started as pride, I think, going, no, he's, okay, he can help us with this gas bill, but no more. Okay. And so it took me letting him lead, right? And being like, nope, no matter where we are, we're going to let him lead, and he's going to make the right decisions for us. But what started as pride, I think turned into like a holy grit. Like now it's just like, no, we're just going to get this done and we're going to do. And I think that the Lord has placed that anointing on him.
Thank you.
Hey,
That's awesome.
you're welcome.
Wow. See, there you go. Yeah, top that, huh?
As you were talking, as you were talking through that, it brought to front of mind an interview that I heard Tim Tebow recently.
Let's go.
And I don't know if y'all have heard this one, but he talks about how he doesn't want to get to heaven well rested.
Yeah, come on, man.
And that's
so good.
Powerful.
Yeah.
If you can kind of have that mindset on an ongoing basis, and it gives you that grit, that courageous stewardship, where you constantly are saying, I'm not going to get to heaven well rested.
Yeah. So
I'm
good.
going to keep driving until the day I die, I'm going. And I'm going to build and grow and impact as much as I possibly can until I'm
so
done.
good.
Yeah, I think I caught some of that, and I think because he puts in there, it is important. Like, hey, there is a Sabbath, there is a day of rest,
Of course,
but I'm not living a life of rest.
Right.
I'm driven and I'm moving forward. Yeah, I love that. I've said that before. Like, man, when I get there, I'm like sliding head first, like limping, broken leg. I mean, I just want to know that I gave it everything, and that I had the greatest impact. Everybody wants that. Hey, well done. Yeah, I want to hear that. Well done, my faithful servant. You know, we all want that. Yeah. But one of the things I don't want, and I think this came from Sean, and when we did our podcast together, you said, if I'm looking in the future there's three people,
there's three
right?
Seans,
the three Seans. And you said, it's the one that, like, I'm not looking back on my life and going, man, I regret the thing that I didn't do. And I've shared this story as a firefighter, like how many times I've got to actually have conversations with people, not necessarily on their deathbed, but they're headed that way. And I'm asking them, hey, do you have any regrets? And they go, well, it was always the things that they didn't do. And so I always kind of like put that in my mind, like, if I get to heaven, I don't want the Lord to say, hey, this is what your life could have been if you would have done right? I want it to be like, man, you did it all. You did it all. Well done. Like
Yeah.
there was not, you didn't leave anything behind. Like
Aaron, I feel like you're the only one somehow that's going to show up to heaven late.
yeah.
I just had one last thing.
One more. He
Hold
will.
on one second.
Come on,
Got
one
something
more.
else to do.
Come
I'm
on,
here
let's
now.
go.
For
But
sure.
I'm sorry. I know you had me at like 12:30.
He's not
and it's
joking at the
12:45.
slide-in. Literally.
Like, come on.
I'm here.
Come on, man.
How'd I do?
Love that.
I just want to make an impact in as many people's lives as I can, man. I really do. I tell people, that I'm living the dream. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was a joke. I did a sermon called "Living the Dream" and just talk about going after that. But I really am living the dream, man. My whole family, we do all this
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just building a legacy. It's building an inheritance too. But like, and we get to do all this together,
Yeah.
man. We get to impact the Lord. We get to impact the kingdom. We get to work with each other every day. Like, man, that's the dream for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so, like, if it all went away today, like, if I went to heaven today, I'd be like, I think I did it okay.
Yeah,
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so,
Yeah. And I think even that on the flip side can cause some maybe misunderstanding with people who don't understand, don't understand the grind or
Yeah.
don't understand
course.
maybe friends or family, more downtime with us, why don't you come do more?
Yeah.
And we want to, we love that downtime, but it's those order of priorities, right? Like if the Lord tells us to do this thing, this is what we're doing first. And one of our mentors, she asked me one time, she said, I just need to ask you when I'm talking about like, how do you keep everybody happy? Like, I don't know how to serve the Lord and do all the things he's asking me and keep my friends and family happy because I'm not with them as much, right?
Yeah.
Like extended family. And one of my mentors said, well, here's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you able and willing to risk being hated by everyone, but loved and approved by Jesus?
There you go.
And I'm like,
Good.
okay, yeah, that's what matters. And so that's what we're trying to do. People don't understand it sometimes.
Yeah.
And our heart's never to hurt anyone.
No, of course.
But that road to heaven's narrow.
yeah.
That's good.
And, we're just trying to walk the best path that we can.
I have a heart for people. And so, we talked about like the social media thing earlier. When I see those, like every once in a while, there'll be something out on social media, like someone's, posted a comment about us or something like that. It does break my heart. It really does. Because, they all are like, oh, you just got to let it go. You got to let it go. I love people so much. And I'm like, part of me is like, you just don't understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't.
We
you
just
don't
talked about
know
this
me.
morning. They
Like,
just don't know our hearts,
yeah,
right?
like you don't. Like, did I mess up? Did I fall short every day? But like, my heart is to like make the biggest impact in this community and in people's lives that I possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hurt or harm anyone. And so if that
Yeah.
happens along the way, like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I wish I could feed everyone. I wish I could house everyone. I wish I could, and I wish I could do it all for free. But I can't.
Right.
And so it does hurt. It does break my heart when I see things like that because I love people so much.
We all tell them
so,
stay off the comments.
They do.
Yeah.
They
You
do.
have
They
to.
do.
Stay off
You
the
really
comments.
do.
Yeah,
You
I
really
get it.
do.
I think that's
Social
it.
media is great, but on the other hand,
Yeah.
man, it can just, especially,
Yeah, I have a father's heart and a
Yeah.
pastor's heart.
There
we go.
And so,
Yeah.
like, those things grieve my spirit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? When I see people who are unhappy or they've been grieved in some way. But I know that there's two sides to every story.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
Well,
you
that's
know?
good.
Yeah.
So,
It's been great hearing all this. You guys are a major impact in the community. I know how many lives you've changed, mine being one of them. So I know I gave you a thank you card a long time ago. I'm just like,
man, I'm
man,
so
my life's
pumped.
changed.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that as you guys are continuing to push through Wellspring Legacy and grow this thing, is there a way they can be connecting with you right now?
Yeah.
So when you guys are getting those next steps put in place, they're connected already.
Yeah.
So that
Yes,
you guys
sure.
can-
Yeah.
Wellspring Legacy Group. We have social media on Facebook and Instagram. They can message us there. Actually, our daughter-in-law runs all of our social media and marketing. And then also at wellspringlegacygroup.com, we have a link to fill out a form for a discovery call, which is kind of just our get to know you call.
Okay.
Once they fill out a form, someone will be in contact 24 to 48 hours, and then we'll set up either a Zoom or a phone call and just kind of hear your heart, get to know you, and see if we're a fit for whatever you're looking for and how we can serve you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So good. Wow. Thank you, guys.
Gosh,
Such a great podcast. We're honored to have you.
Thank you so much for having
man.
us.
It's been
We're
great.
grateful.
But I love seeing what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And I love like just seeing the impact you guys are having in the community and the people around you. And man, Sean, I'm just proud of you, bro. Like, dude, 0 to 20.
Yeah, I didn't have an off switch and I couldn't slow down.
I love it.
I mean,
yeah.
it's incredible, dude, to see just the way you've moved. Like, it's inspiring, man. It's reignited a fire in me too. So
I reflect on Bob Evans a lot.
Come on, let's go.
Love it.
Like, gosh.
I love it.
And a Bob Evans.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't have to work right now. That rings in my head over and over again. And I'm like, okay. And then you believed in me. You poured into me a little bit. You gave me some next steps, and then even stayed connected through the start. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of this one. I'm honored to be a part of this group. I think Sean feels the same way.
Yeah.
And we wish you guys all the best. We want 100% success in everything that you do.
Thank you so
and
much.
we're honored to have you. If you guys have not already, go check us out on all of the podcast platforms. We're on all the major ones. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. What am I missing? Instagram. So make sure you go subscribe, leave some comments. We want to engage with our audience, and we're going to have more guests on. We already have some lined up for the next month or two, and we're really looking forward to what the Lord is doing in and through this ministry and our businesses, and we look forward for what's to come. So thank you guys again so much, and we will see y'all on the next episode. See ya.